Hey everyone, it's Nikki. Welcome back. I have a fairly quick DIY for you today. Starting with this frame my sister brought home from the Family Dollar. It was like 87 cents. Such a steal, and I love that she works there. She brings me stuff all the time. Maybe that's a bad thing. But I started off by removing the smaller frame and began cutting it out so the space would be an open hole. But as I was cutting, I realized the piece wasn't actually painted. It had like a textured layer over it, kind of like tile. So I was able to take my X-Acto knife and cut along the sides of the frame to lift it off in like one whole piece. And then when I finished cutting out my hole. Next, I took some cardstock from Paper Studio. You can actually find this at Hobby Lobby, and I cut it to fit my frame, and then to adhere it, I went along the back with a glue stick and then added some hot glue around the edges just to make sure it stayed secure. And you know how it is with Family Dollar and Dollar Tree items. They're just not always perfect. And then I took my hand sander and then went along the sides. I think it not only cleans up the edges, but I think it helps with the adhesive process, or at least I think it does. I got this skeleton at the Family Dollar. It was only like $3. I started to disassemble just what I needed, and the rest I'll, of course, put in my stash. And all we're going to use is the arm and the hand for this project. I got this Victorian style lace from Temu, and I just think it's so elegant and perfect for this project. I'm gonna glue it around her wrist and let it drape over her hand. And by now you probably know where this is going. We're making a skeleton bride, and every bride deserves a touch of elegance, and even one from beyond the grave. With lace like this, she's already halfway to the altar, and all she needs now is a bouquet and maybe a groom brave enough to hold her hand. Next, I'm trying to figure out sizing of her arm, so I cut through the foam and then take my pliers to cut the metal wire back. I don't want her arm to dangle out too far. So once I get it the size I want, I'm going to cut it off, and then I'm going to take my needle nose pliers and make a loop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an upholstery tack and run that through the loop and hammer it into the back of my frame, like right on the bottom of my frame, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's just hard to describe what I'm doing. I took this piece of resin I had cast a while ago. I'll try and track down where the mold came from, and I glued it right down to my frame using some hot glue. It has such a beautiful ornate design, almost like an old church window. And of course, every bride needs a ring, and so I added this really pretty red gem. At first I had used Aleene's tacky glue, but the ring wouldn't adhere, so I just used some hot glue, and that was just fine. I wanted to create the illusion that her hand was draping out through a window, so I used this ribbon from Temu, cut it to fit, and glued it down using some hot glue. I think it gave her the perfect stage to strike a pose, the kind she used to post on her OnlyFans page. But now, well, it's only phantoms. Now I'm layering this tassel-like ribbon in the back to complete the window look, and I added plenty of hot glue so the threads won't unravel. To bring out the ornate details in my resin piece, I brushed on Paint Couture's metallic paint in the color Purple Moon. It really highlights all those Gothic church window designs. I added another resin piece after that to the window. Instead of painting the edges of the frame, I went in with lace all the way around, and I think it gives it such a soft, romantic finish. And finally, a manicure, because what bride shows off her ring without her nails done? And with her red nails and her gem ring and those delicate sleeves, she is ready for her big moment. And I can almost imagine her standing by this Gothic window, waiting for her groom, or maybe just waiting for her next photo op. And that's it for this project, friends. This is really about as spooky as I get when it comes to Halloween DIYs. Creepy, but with a touch of elegance, and I hope you enjoyed meeting my little skeleton bride. I'm also working toward my goal of 1,000 subscribers by September 23rd, so if you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to join me here. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Until the next one, guys. Bye!